This copyrighted video was produced by the California Department of Rehabilitation and is intended solely for educational purposes.
In this segment of Employment Today, we're going to talk about job duty statements. Although not required by law, a well-written job duty statement serves three purposes. First and foremost, duty statements are the primary tool used by employers to recruit and hire qualified job applicants. Your duty statement not only helps you attract the right candidate, but it also helps job applicants understand the job duties they will be asked to perform. Second, supervisors use duty statements to determine if their employees are meeting the required performance standards or to identify training deficiencies. And third, they're used to respond to reasonable accommodation requests from an individual with a disability. With all that on the line, it's time for today's top 5. And today's subject is the top 5 duty statement mistakes. Mistake number 1, oops, you don't have one. Okay, some of you might be wondering, why do it now? Why can't we just put together a duty statement at a later date? Unfortunately, if you develop a duty statement after a reasonable accommodation request or after a discrimination complaint that has been filed, the courts won't give these documents much credence. Mistake number 2, you have one, but it's incomplete. The duty statement should list the physical and other work demands required for this job, including the environment where the duties are most likely to occur. The duty statement should also identify the essential and marginal job functions the employee will be expected to perform. This information about the workplace will help the applicant gain a better understanding of the job duties you require. Your duty statement should use language that is direct and easily understood. Every duty statement should include the job title, a brief paragraph describing the purpose of this position, the immediate supervisor's name, typical work hours, and the minimum requirements, including your company's conduct policy, attendance, and performance expectations. Here are some additional tips. Avoid using technical jargon and acronyms. A new employee probably won't know what they mean. Don't rely on a one-size-fits-all approach. The duty statement you prepared for the San Francisco office might be very different from the job duties performed by another employee with the same job title in the Fresno office. Remembering these simple tips will help you develop and maintain a well-written duty statement. Mistake number 3. Essential and marginal job functions are not separated. State and federal disability employment laws require employers to provide reasonable accommodations to the essential functions of the job for qualified individuals with a disability, and to reassign marginal job functions when necessary. But where do you start when you haven't separated the essential functions from those you designated as being marginal? Under Equal Opportunity Employment Commission guidelines, work activities are considered essential if they meet the following criteria. Number 1, you hired the person to perform this specific task. As an example, your payroll clerk was hired to perform specific payroll activities. These are the core functions the employee performs on a day-in, day-out basis. They might occasionally answer the main phone if the receptionist is away from his or her desk, but in most cases, answering this telephone would not be the payroll clerk's primary responsibility. Number 2, you have a limited number of employees available to help perform a function. Say you have a small plumbing company consisting of 7 plumbers and 1 receptionist. The receptionist's job duties include answering the telephone, scheduling appointments, and ordering parts from the warehouse. You hired this employee to perform this activity, and since no one else is available, the function would be considered essential. Number 3, the person performing these work activities was hired because of his or her specialized training, certification, or skills. This rationale would make his or her work activities essential. The 4th factor would be the time spent performing this activity. In most cases, an employee spends the majority of the workday performing their essential job duties. But you should never assume that a particular work activity has to take a significant portion of the employee's time in order for it to be essential. For example, a commercial airline pilot might spend most of the day flying the airplane and only a few minutes landing the airplane. And in my book, landing the plane safely would also be considered essential, if you know what I mean. Duty statement mistake number 4. not keeping your duty statement current. Your duty statement should be reviewed and updated when you hire additional staff, consolidate job duties, purchase new equipment, or make other operational changes. It is always a good idea to solicit feedback from existing employees to help keep your duty statement current. Remember, it's not accurate if it's not current. And finally, mistake number 5, forgetting to have the duty statement signed. Okay, let's say you did all the right things, but forgot to have your employees sign and date a copy of the duty statement. This signature indicates both parties have reviewed and agreed to the expectations required for this position. Without this signature, this situation could easily turn into a he said, she said situation where nobody wins. So if you want a little help in creating a duty statement, go online and go to careerinfonet.org. It's a free website sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor. You can use the Job Description Writer application to build a meaningful job description. That's today's top 5. For more information on this and other disability-related topics, visit the Department of Rehabilitation's website, www.dor.ca.gov/disability access info. Now get to work on those duty statements. You'll be glad you did.